So we enter our final two matchups of the night. It'll be Hunter Adrian against Coleman Nogle, followed by Ian Oswalt and Michael Jaffe. Brown leads Harvard 17-15 in the dual score. A major decision would give Brown a 4-point lead. Harvard would need a pin in the final matchup and the tiebreaker criteria, which I don't think they would have. The teams would have the same number of pins. However, I believe Brown has outscored Harvard in total points over the course of the entire thing. So we'd have to double check, but Brown can make it easy if Hunter Adrian can get more than just a major decision, or if he and Oswalt win their final two, it won't even be a question. But this has been one that I had circled in addition to Saito and Harrington, which lived up to the billing. Adrian and Nogle, we don't expect it to be quite the same level of fireworks, but we expect it to be the same level of hotly contested wrestling out on the mat. These two very similar, both in stature. Their records are fairly similar as well. Hunter Adrian this season, 8-9, going up against Coleman Nogle, who on the season is 11-14. But Nogle still looking for his first EIWA victory of the season. Tried to go mat return. Good strength by Adrian initially, but not the second time. And Coleman Nogle gets Harvard on the board first with a takedown. That's one that they needed. They have been outclassed the last two by Semenenko and Joyce over Crooks and Adams respectively. And we're going to get another takedown, and that's a great turn as Adrian, I'm going to say they gave him one. I thought that there was a turn there, but either way, now again, I can see, you can see that Harvard is also confused. They threw their challenge brick, and they're saying, why is Adrian getting a point out of that? So they're going to come over here and look at that. Anytime any points are awarded right near the periphery of the mat, you will very typically get the challenge brick thrown out, as now you have out of bounds versus takedown versus escape. They have one up there for Brown. So my guess is stall was called against Harvard, and that was what was challenged by Coach Reese. Brown has already thrown their challenge brick. They did that on the stall warning and eventually stall penalty. That was the difference in the Colby-Isabel match. As you're going to see this here, there's the initial lift. This is the takedown. It's good defense initially, but then just better brute strength from Coleman Nogle. And Nogle was able to get those 3 points. Score as it stands now, 3-1. You can take your regular speed. You see Coleman there. Right here. Nogle, a first year from Laurel, Maryland, going up against the junior and Hunter Adrian. And we will see what the ruling ultimately is. And we come to neutral. So, looks like they didn't change anything. So, just the escape point left for Adrian. That's all he has. And Nogle's takedown, separating the two sides at 3-1. Nogle looking for another takedown. Adrian, no control as of yet, as Adrian continues to battle, has his right arms locked around that left leg of Nogle. Biggest matchup of the night, in a night that's been filled with them. Harvard looking to retake the lead heading into the final bout of the night. Brown looking to all but seal this as we reach stalemate. A Brown decision would not end this. A regular decision and they'd be up by 5, and a tech fall would tie us up in the final matchup. But if Jaffe could get a pin, Harvard would win by the slenderest of margins. But can't think about the scoring out there on the mat. You just have to focus on winning your match. And so far, Nogle, with just a dozen seconds of ride time, into short time here at the end of the first. Adrian and Nogle come together, and then they will return to center. It'll be Adrian's choice. He defers. No, he doesn't defer. He'll take bottom to start this second to try and get to within 3-2 with the escape. You're watching the Ivy League here on ESPN. Mason Stauff on the call on this Friday night, and Adrian not going to get the escape. He's in trouble. Got very close to potentially getting turned, and now here he is again. Has to avoid getting onto that shoulder, or you'd be in pin territory. Adrian fighting hard, trying to get his left shoulder back down toward the mat and reset his body. That was good strength as he was almost up on that shoulder blade for a second, but you see Nogle looking for that turn, looking to get him toward that 45-degree angle, separate the arms. Adrian, though, battling hard. Riding time is now becoming a factor as we're past 1 minute in Nogle's favor. That could play a factor later on in this match. Harvard has not gotten a single bonus point due to riding time today. Brown has gotten a couple of them, and they have lended toward the major decisions that Semenenko and Joyce have picked up. The only tech fall today to Jack Crook at 149 back in our first matchup of the day for Harvard. Our only pin one match after that as Blake Saito pinned Jimmy Harrington. Get a stalemate here. We'll return to center. You see the minute 28 of ride time in Nogle's favor. Adrian still well in this matchup. Just a takedown separates him from his opponent. And do we have a little bit of blood on that right cheek? Yes, it looks like we do. So the true hero of any wrestling team, the training staff, cleaning up Hunter Adrian a little bit here. Training staff always important in just about every sport, but probably none more active than they are in the sport of wrestling. Got to clean up the mat now, and we'll allow Adrian to reset his thoughts a little bit, get some coaching. Both teams getting coaching, although not much to say from Jay Weiss to his first-year wrestler, Coleman Nogle. Likes the way he's wrestled so far, as it has been tight throughout. These two Ancient Eight rivals who have had up and down seasons, to say the least. Brown looking for just their second dual victory of the season. Harvard entering with a record of 3-6 in their duels. This is Harvard's final matchup of the regular season before they head to the IWAs. There is no takedown granted. Harvard coaches were hopeful for one, didn't get one, as Adrian went back to the mat. He got close to an escape, but Nogle has been on top for the vast majority of this second period, has dominated now the ride time up over 2 minutes. Can Adrian get away? Oh, he was close, but he couldn't get there. And this second period comes to an end. So 2:13 is the ride time. Nogle chooses bottom. He knows if he can get an escape point here, it'd be a 3-point score line, but he'd also have the ride time, which, barring something crazy in this third period, is going to go in his favor. So now it's a 3-point game, but it's effectively 4 with the ride time, which means that Adrian needs at least a takedown and an escape. A takedown alone will not do it. And we would head, if the scoreline holds, into the final matchup of the night. Winner take all. Oswalt against Jaffe for all the marbles. Harvard coaching staff liking what they're seeing from their young wrestler. Nogle thrust into a fairly unfamiliar situation. You do not see a lot of freshman wrestlers who come into a roster and immediately start at their weight class. This is a sport where even in the Ivy League, wrestling as a freshman is a rarity. We know the rules as far as staying for more than your allotted 4 years, but in the sport of wrestling, that first year is oftentimes used as a development year, not for Coleman Nogle. His 26th matchup of the season. Here is a freshman for the Crimson. We've seen a lot of action, but this is the first time we've seen anything get toward the perimeter. That's a lot for a return to stalemate, I will say that. With 27 seconds left, Nogle still in control. Adrian must get a takedown and more, and I don't know where he's going to find it. Adrian thrust aside by Nogle. And with 10 seconds left, it looks like in the two highlight matchups of the night, they're going to split them between Saito and Nogle in the ones that are really anybody's ball game. And we will head into our final matchup of the night with the winner taking the duel. It's as simple as that. Nogle, that escape point plus the ride time gives him a 5-1 victory. It is a normal decision, so 3 points for Coleman Nogle.